How long? A couple months ago?
Mm-hmm.
I wish you'd saved it. I could pick up more than I picked out of the press kit, what I knew from my TV days. But I watched that show all the time. You were in what, Gilligan's Island or something?
Gilligan's Island, that was it.
You were what?
I played...
Ginger, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't make sure.
I played Gilligan.
Yeah, well, you look good.
Okay.
Have you seen Gilligan since then? We did an interview with him. He's aged, boy. He's getting old.
Really?
Nice guy, hell of a guy, Bob Denver, but does that bother you?
No, it just makes me nervous when you talk about somebody like that. He's aged, he's old, and then I start to get nervous.
He's got a little, you look great. Look
Thank
at
you.
Bob, get a shot how great she looks, will you?
Thank you.
Make her happy. He doesn't even have to, this time, he doesn't have to use the diffusion lens there. We'll just use
Oh, really?
Let me just
I hope you're
put a
not
little
sorry.
Vaseline on that, make her happy. No, you look wonderful, really.
Thank you.
I said that to Cynthia when I walked in. All right, get into the mundane information here. After several years now out of the business, what drew you back to show business? If you could put your finger on one thing or maybe several things.
The desire to work. I love working. You know, I do like the work, and I love the creative aspect of it. The desire to express that. Sounds vague, but it was just, you know, it was just kind of building and coming together until I could channel it, and then I met someone who was interested in me, you know, to manage me and to push me in that direction. So I let it happen. It took a while. It just didn't happen. I just didn't decide, and then it took a couple of years, really.
Really?
Yeah.
And, you know, you are following in Kinjite, right? Kinjite. You are following Hope Lang, Deborah Raffin, Jill Ireland, people that have played Chuck Bronson's wives or girlfriends in films. Now Peggy Lipton. Peggy, tell everybody what the working relationship is with this man. I mean, what is it about Chuck Bronson to work with?
You know him by Chuck?
No, that's what they call him in the business. I call him Sir when I see him in person.
Really?
So.
He's an interesting combination of being very remote and very accessible. When you're around him, yes, it's true. You don't approach him, really. I do, because I approach anybody who I like.
Right.
And I did like him right away. And even when I approached him, he refused to acknowledge me, but it was sort of a game. And then he turned around and gave me a hug, and then I knew that it would be great to work with him. But I think it's that combination of that aloofness. He really stands alone. I once saw him at a party, and he was literally standing alone somehow under a light, like a spotlight. And that's how you see him, that's how he's viewed, and he makes himself that way. And that's very appealing, I think. He's not a cold man at all. He's very warm, and he's funny. He's very funny underneath that exterior. That's what I like. That's what drew me to him.
Mm-hmm. Why don't we see that? I mean, we see the cold man, or he's not a cold man, but we see the aloofness, and is it just something that he's wanting to keep up that type of public image? Or?
I don't know. I mean, it would be my guess, yes.
Yeah.
But I really don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I see a lot more colors in him, you know, for his work and everything that I've, you know, even working with him, I wish that there was more, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I know he has it. I mean, and you know, he's certainly no novice.
Yeah.
So it's his choice. I think it's something he's chosen to do.
Hmm. And before going into this project, what preconceived notions did you have about working in a Charles Bronson film?
I was just excited. I didn't have any notions because I truthfully have not seen the long stream of his films. I've seen the older ones, but I haven't seen any of those, you know, those heavy-duty ones. So I was very excited. I had a totally clear image of just how I would work with him.
Okay. Now, this is interesting. In the press material, it says, for your role in Kinjite, Peggy Lipton plays Crow's beautiful wife, Kathleen, and that's what it says. Give me a little more about Kathleen, will you? Just fill us in a little bit about the character of Kathleen.
They've been married a while. They have a 15-year-old daughter. Well, she stands behind him, obviously. They're very concerned about their daughter. They have a very kind of exuberant, well-adjusted teenager. Kathleen is a policeman's wife, really. That's what she is, you know? And it's not a role that I can say that I wouldn't be familiar with. It's sort of a background role, you know, someone who's the support mechanism for a, quote, powerful man. I mean, this is something that I've done in my life, so I really understand that. I mean, Kathleen, I don't think is really so much out there in the world as she is for home for her family.
Were you able to draw from your relationship?
Oh yeah.
And life?
Oh yes. And also the film, the subject matter of the film, having to do with teenagers, young teenagers, is, you know, is close to me because I have young pre-teenagers or teenagers, so I could draw on that. Earl.
Yes. There we go. I mean, being a mother and having young children, and there's so much going on in society today. I mean, it has been. How did you do that without moving your mouth?
It was just amazing.
There's so much going. There's so much going on in society. You know, the drug problem and you know, abused children and what have you. What are some of your major concerns as a parent, if you rear your children the right way? What are your concerns?
Well, all of these things that you mentioned. I mean, drugs are, you know, of main concern not only for, you know, lower income, but for it just crosses the strata completely of this country, and that I know. So that's a main concern. All of those things, you know, but you know, I'm concerned about my children. My children are very, very well informed. I think the media, you know, in many ways has worked really well the last few years in informing, and the schools too. So they're very well informed. They know now, they really know that if they choose to, you know, drink or do drugs, they know what to expect, you know. And it's not like, you know, years ago when we didn't know. But of course, I just, you know, I become like all I can say is my weekends, you know, I spend driving and picking up because I need to know where they are, you know, who they're with. So that's, you know, I'm like a jail guard in that way. And within that, I give them a lot of freedom. But I need to know where they are, and I have to be in control of that because it's only a few years now. And these are the most important years. I mean, they're all important years.
Right.
But luckily, kids are aware, as are mine. I can't say that they will or won't. It'll be their choice, though. It'll be their choice. You know, they'll choose whether they can handle it or not, whether it's worth it. You know?
Yeah, it must be tough growing up today. I mean, as I say, in the 60s and 70s, you didn't know everybody was experimenting.
That's right, and it was almost accepted in a way. It was almost acceptable because it was, everybody was experimenting, you're right.
The whole country was, almost. I mean, you know, from Timothy Leary to young people, I mean, everybody was doing it.
You know, but now there's no room for experiment. There's nothing to experiment in terms of drugs. They're lethal, they're deadly, and there's no such thing anymore.
Yeah, because everybody knows.
Yeah.
So now we're all educated. We've now been educated.
But that still doesn't stop the...
Oh, of course not.
No.
No, it never will, I don't think. I mean, I don't know how they're going to fight drug problems in the country.
I love this sticker. I mean, it always uplifts me when I see this sticker or this quote, and it's a drug-free America. I just think that's, I mean, who knows if it'll ever be, but I find it very inspirational as a slogan, you know, because it's a goal.
Yeah, I mean, it'll take a while,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah,
really
yeah.
do. Wait, you wanted to go do something? What?
I have
Coffee?
to leave or what?
No, I'm
What do I
sorry,
have to
can
do?
I talk for a second?
Yeah.
They're probably going to try to deliver your food and the phone's going to be turned off and the guy's going to be... I just want to tell the concierge to keep him there.
It's okay.
Can I do
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Sure.
we can stop.
Sorry. No, it's all right. I just didn't want the guy to go back with all the food.
No.
We'll follow up our day.
All right. We'll change direction for a second.
Okay.
What have you enjoyed most about your return to acting in films and TV and what have you?
I can tell you what I don't like first. I don't like the audition process, not because I feel I shouldn't be auditioning at all. I like the meeting, you know, of the people, but I don't like to have to read in an office. I do like working in front of the camera. That's my favorite thing. I like the press very much. And I've done a lot of talk shows and things like that, and I'm starting to feel very comfortable with that, so that's good. I like the prospect of what's going to happen.
Yeah, like almost like a second career in the business.
It's very exciting.
You'll be playing different parts,
Yeah.
along with the young.
I don't have to stay. That's right.
But you still look great, though. I mean, you could probably play that young kid again.
I don't think I
Mod
want
Squad
to.
Revisited.
Well, thank you.
I don't think it'll be running down the street as fast, the threesome, but.
I don't know. Maybe. I'd be stronger now. Maybe.
Yeah, you would. I don't know what the other guys what they were doing. When you started in the Mod Squad, you were riding high. You had the Golden Globes, you had the Emmy nominations, and the whole deal. How tough a decision was it for you to take the long hiatus and start the family? I mean, was that?
It wasn't,
No.
because I was tired of working. I had met my husband, and I just knew. It was a fateful thing that I absolutely knew that I didn't want to work for a while. I didn't know how long, but I did know I wanted to spend time with my kids. I myself couldn't be a working mother and raising small children. I mean, they were my life, so I gave them that.
All right, do this for me then. Compare the challenge of raising a family with the challenges of working on a hit TV series.
Now you know that
Yeah.
raising a family, because we were just talking about this, is a job nothing compares to, as far as I'm concerned. A series, you can fall into a mode. With kids, you never can, because every day, every minute is a surprise with them. So you have to remain flexible and strong, and it's just the most all-consuming, and I think the most rewarding job in the world. And they grow up and they leave you.
Someday. Yeah.
They do. Well, not at 14 months, but they do. And the preparation as a parent is like from that time. You're like preparing yourself for when they leave you. It has to be that way. I mean, that's the natural thing. But now that I am working, they're a little bit older. It's different. It's going to be different for me. I'll be able to put more attention on my work, where I couldn't have done that.
Mm-hmm. No, the Mod Squad was a mega hit. I mean, you said, 5 years on TV? Everybody knew Link and Pete and Julie. And, and when I was growing up, I mean, you almost wanted to be, you'd have little Mod Squads, you'd say, hey, I'm this one, I'm that one. Of course, I was always Julie. But the other thing is that, how did you keep, be quiet over there, how did you keep all the fame and notoriety, say the word for me.
Notoriety.
Notoriety in perspective, do you think?
Part of the time, a lot of the time we were very insulated on that set. We didn't see, we would work so hard, that we weren't 100% aware of how effective we were, which was a blessing in disguise. And it wasn't a struggle, because I never liked dating. I never liked going out. So, it wasn't like I ran to the fanfare, so to speak. So I really didn't have a lot of feedback in that way. I tried to concentrate on my work. That helped. I had a few ups and downs of romances, which, did or didn't help. But there were distractions, let's say. And there were distractions at the same time as my concentrating on my work. So, I mean, I got a little testy for a while. I tried to throw my weight around a little bit, but, I mean, women were really not actively participating as leads in TV shows in those days. I was one of the few. That's why when I had when one year I had an Emmy nomination, my competition was Glenda Jackson and Susan Hampshire, who were real, quote, actresses, who were on PBS, I guess it was, because there weren't any other women in dramas on TV. So I didn't get treated badly, but I didn't get the best treatment, because it was, it was I don't want to say feminist, but it was before that time.
Before the nods were going for roles for women, and it was, because what is that, we're talking about, almost 20 years?
Ooh.
No, I don't want to say that.
Yeah, don't
God
say
forbid.
that.
I'll say it again, she looks good, doesn't she?
But anyway, I dealt with it.
Because, I mean, all the things that they would write in the teen magazines or in the magazines about you guys, and I mean, when they said you were dating Barney from Andy Griffith, I knew that was a mistake, but I don't
even know who that is, but it doesn't sound right to me.
I'm just kidding.
The teen magazines were great, because really, that was almost, It was harmless. It was when
Right.
it was the other things when they tried to put, my face next to Frank Sinatra's and our hands. That used to upset me a little bit. Nothing against him, but I was a little bit young to
Be holding his hand,
yeah.
quite honestly.
But actually, not that much threw me, and that's why. And that's an answer. That's a long way of coming back around to your question. Is not that much could throw me off my track.
That's good. I
Yeah.
mean, boy, you kept the vision and
Yeah.
what you wanted to do with your work and everything. How do you think show business has changed since your heavy involvement of years ago, since you're getting back to it now?
Well, I can only judge from, I did a TV show, and the minute I got on the set, I felt something, it was different. I couldn't even put my finger on it. And there were 2 cameras. We never had 2 cameras. There were black people working as crew. We never had that. And there was a different atmosphere, more relaxed atmosphere. I always felt like someone was breathing down my neck. I don't know if that was my own paranoia, but I always felt, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, 6 days to do this show.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went and worked on this TV film, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel like they were so grinding it so much. And maybe I'm wrong. So in that way, that's my own experience. I mean, show business, life has changed, so why shouldn't show business change, And of course, the subject matter now is so much more interesting.
Yeah, there are many more subjects to deal with, right?
Yeah.
Certainly.
Are you having a good time, Earl?
I'm having a wonderful time,
So
actually.
smooth, this interview, isn't
What
it?
did you leave me for?
Doesn't get him any of that.
I'm hungry. Right, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay. Where the hell were we? Who are we talking to? I don't remember anymore.
We were talking about how show business has
you gave me a
changed.
nice answer on that. Okay. What is it, now that you're back to work, what is a typical day in the life of Peggy Lipton like? I mean, if we were to take Bob with us, and by God, he should go with us because he's been with us all day today during this interview. If we were to tape your day, a typical day in the life off the set and away from work, what would it be like?
Early morning, up with my children, exercise class, sometime in the morning probably. Usually come home or go by the market on the way home. Come home and then go to my therapy. Then I'm home for my kids. I usually stay home at night. I don't go out that much because I like to be home with them. That's important to me. It's more important than going out. I do a lot of reading, writing at home.
Arithmetic?
Sure.
Okay, let's make sure.
I meditate every day usually, but I wouldn't let you film me there.
That's in your own privacy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's important to you.
Yeah, yes, it is. It's the one time in my day that I can really be alone and quiet. And that's about it. See, it's kind of dull, huh?
Yeah. I sure as hell don't want to follow you around. Follow around Cynthia better than that. We
I don't know. I don't really shop that much, unless I go to the market or,
Right.
no.
Let me ask you this, wrapping up here. We are sitting with you at a computer terminal, okay, and we're punching in a program, say for the next 5 years of Peggy Lipton's life. What do you want that program to read?
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. I want to do a TV series, I think. I'd like to have that security and that vehicle for expression. See, I'm really looking forward to that, not the grind of work. Who could look forward to that? But I'm rusty and I want to work. I want to work on a continuing, on something that has some continuity for me so that I can work my instrument over and over again. This is why I'm still in acting class. I've been in acting class off and on for years. That's another thing where you could come with me too. So that's what I would look forward to, that constant use of my craft. I'd like to see my children, graduate, go to college, to be there, as a proud mom. I'd like to maybe move also to somewhere a little cozier, greener
Then?
than where I am. I have to stay in Los Angeles because that's where the work is.
Mm-hmm.
And I like just to to really, you know, I know myself really well now. It's amazing because it's really happened over the last 2 or 3 years. And when I look at myself in 5 years, I like to be so intimate with myself that I could, you know, just be there for anybody who would need me, you know, like my children or anybody who loves me. And I am. I'm there, but I would like more of that, even more, because that's really what I love to do, is please and give.
Well, thank you very much. You've given us a very nice interview.
Thank you,
and I
Ralph.
appreciate it. And let's eat lunch. Go eat lunch. Actually, you can't eat lunch, but we got to move here.
Sorry about all the interruptions. Just